We're also on the brink of nuclear disaster, it seems. And not even for the reason that might be, not even for the most obvious of reasons. Like the situation around the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant is getting more and more dicey. More and more dicey by the minute. We still don't know who was responsible for this shelling and drone attack on the Zaporizhia power plant recently. I'm not gonna speculate on that. Just gonna focus on the fact that we're getting dangerously close to an actual nuclear accident. Attacks on Ukraine's nuclear plant put world at risk, IAEA warns. We're getting dangerously close to a nuclear accident. IAEA Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi said, following multiple attacks against the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine. So that's great. That's biggest nuclear power plant in Europe. Everybody's scared of escalation when it comes to nuclear warfare. Everybody's shitting their pants when it comes to doing anything for Ukraine because that might cause a huge escalation. But nobody sort of seems to stop and think, hey, what if this biggest nuclear power plant in Europe explodes? Wouldn't that be a pretty big deal? The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency said attacks against Europe's largest nuclear power plant have put the world dangerously close to a nuclear accident. Without attributing blame, IAEA Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi said his agency has been able to confirm 3 attacks against the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant since 7th of April. 3 attacks. 3. And keep in mind, this sentence says his agency has been able to confirm 3 attacks. So there might have been more. There might have been more attacks that the agency simply has not been able to confirm. Just so we're clear. It doesn't mean that there has only been 3. It means that 3 were confirmed. These reckless attacks must cease immediately, he told the Security Council on Monday. Though fortunately they have not led to a radiological incident this time, they significantly increase the risk where nuclear safety is already compromised. The remote-controlled nature of the drones that have attacked the plant means that it is not possible to determine who launched them, Grossi told reporters after the meeting. In order to say something like that, we must have proof, he said. These attacks have been performed with a multitude of drones. So, in other words, we do not know. We just don't know who did it, and without evidence, it sort of becomes pointless to make any definite statements on it, unless one wants to make a fool of themselves. Zaporizhia sits in Russian-controlled territory in southeastern Ukraine and has 6 nuclear reactors. Fears of a nuclear catastrophe have been on the forefront since Russian troops occupied the plant shortly after invading in February 2022. Continued. Also, I will remind that if memory serves, Russia has replaced many experts with pretty incompetent people, but that's neither here nor there. Continued fighting between Russian and Ukrainian forces, as well as the tense supply situation at the plant, have raised the risk of a disaster. Ukraine and its allies on Monday blamed Russia for dangers at the site. Russia, for its part, said Ukraine was to blame for the attacks. The IAEA's report does not pinpoint which side is behind the attacks. Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia said, "We know full well who it is." Complacency. Complacency is a big word when it comes to this war. Like complacency. I sure agree. I sure as heck agree that there's a lot of complacency when it comes to this war. What it is. If we don't all get our acts together, we're just going to have to face the consequences, I guess. Well, if you've enjoyed this segment, then press like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that stuff.